Hey, it's Big Game James McCarty, the sports director at WDAY Radio, and we're here now at West Fargo Horace with the head coach of the Hawks, Harvey McMahon. Coach, it's year number 2 for you at the helm. How are you doing, and how are you feeling headed into the season?
Feeling great. Lots of energy going into this year. I can't believe it's already year 4 of the program, year 2 of varsity. So that was a little bit of how crazy for me how fast time's gone. But the coaching staff and I, we sat down. We had a great off season with the kids, and there's just a lot of energy buzzing, and everyone's ready to roll.
And I remember the conversation we had about this time last year where you said that first year of JV football, it was rough. That second year of JV football, there was improvements, and you saw that steady improvement. Last year, of course, as a varsity program, year 1, you knew growing pains were coming. You knew that there was going to be tough games. And now it's year 2. You have opportunities to improve on that. What would you say as a coach that your staff and then also your players learned from year 1 into what will be now year 2 on Friday night?
Well, you just kind of find out who you are a little bit. You find your identity and you find your strengths and your weaknesses, and then you give us a good off season with the weight room and just growing, being around each other, putting together a depth chart, putting together a roster, and it becomes easier. It becomes easier as things settle down a little bit. Last year was last year, and we had a ton of obstacles, obviously, and none of those are excuses. We knew what we were getting into, and we were actually very proud of last year.
When you look at whether it's the roster, it's the depth chart here now, this is the first time the West Fargo Horace Hawks are able to look at a roster and go, we have seniors on our team. Now, of course, a lot of them are second-year varsity seniors, but the fact that they have that year under their belt, the fact that they know that this is their last go-around, does that change anything, do you think, from a confidence level of this program, knowing that you now have seniors, you have all 4 year classes on that varsity roster?
Oh, absolutely. We've already noticed it this summer, this fall camp, having these seniors. It's been really fun to watch. We've preached those first 3 years for these guys. Without me having to coach the freshmen, they can coach what I've installed for me, and that's a really cool deal to watch, because then what we've built since 2020 is a lasting thing. And so having that senior class mentor the younger kids and kind of showing them, hey, this is what we've built thus far. This is where we want to go with the program, and these are our expectations as a senior class. It's been really fun to watch as a coach, and I can't commend that 12th grade class, the seniors, enough.
You're heading into your first game under the Friday night lights here this season, a Friday evening at 6 p.m. against what is going to be the number 1 preseason ranked team in 11 AA in North Dakota, and the Fargo North Spartans. What have you learned from watching film and the successes of that team last year that you're going to hopefully be able to take with your team onto the field against that very foe on Friday night?
Yeah, and that's the thing too is, when we watch film, they're a super talented squad. I mean, from top to bottom, they got over 100 kids on their roster, and they're all talented. I mean, you could talk about Peter Haugo, you could talk about their quarterback Welk and Jeremiah Sam. They got names, and we know we have guys that we have to cover. But when you watch film, you look at what they do well, and then for us, it's about how do we match up, where do we think we can win a battle, and where do we think we have to cover up. So there's a lot of things that go into it, but ultimately, it's like I tell the fellas, like, we got to look inside our locker room for the answers. We don't need to do anything more than just be ourselves and stick to the work that we've done for the last few years. I can't give enough kudos to Fargo North. I mean, that's an excellent program, and rightfully so. They're number 1 in the state.
This is more of a player's question, maybe more of the childish question, but I always like to ask it. And, you as a coach, you still have goals. You still have things you get excited for. There's still those milestones that you have. As a coach, what are you anticipating that you're most looking forward to this season in 2023?
Yeah, I think every coach probably has their goals of like, hey, I want to win a state championship, or I want to get to X amount of wins. I'm sure every coach does. But really for me, and when I accepted the job, I was 26 years old, and I thought I had an idea of what I was doing, and now I'm not 26, and I have a better idea of what this whole project was about. And so I can confidently tell you that I'm most excited to play my 9 guaranteed games with these seniors. That to me has been the most rewarding thing in my coaching career, is being, I was never a freshman coach before. And so when I was a freshman coach, and I was a JV coach, and then back to the varsity stage. And that's something I'm probably never going to get again in my life. And so I'm just going to hold on to it because that's kind of the last step of that ride for me, is watching these seniors get their guaranteed 9 games and just, I'll make a point of emphasis to really sit down and enjoy it with them.
Now, I know with coaches, if you ask about a specific player, that never goes well. I've started to learn that over the last couple of years. So as you head into this season, as you head into the 2023 fall, when it comes to maybe specifically a position group, offensively, defensively, special teams, is there one of those that just seems to be, there's a group of 4 or 5 young men that have some depth, they have some talent, and you think that could be a strength of your team in moving forward and helping improve it?
So I'm going to throw you a curveball. Instead of a position group, I'm going to give you a class. My coaching staff and I have been extremely, and I've kind of known this since they were 7th graders, but the class of 26, that 2026 class, our sophomores, man alive, those guys have really, you talk about having a senior class, those guys are benefiting off of having those upperclassmen, and they're bought in and they're very talented. So I'll let you guys go through the roster and look through the 10th graders, but very impressed as a coaching staff by that 2026 class.
Hey, I love that. That's great. So, Coach, thank you for coming at your time. We appreciate it. Good luck against North Friday night. Good luck the rest of the season. We're looking forward to seeing some success for the Hawks.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Big Game James McCarty, the sports director at WDAY Radio. Have a great rest of your day.